What's good, YouTube? It's been 10,000 of YGO back again today with another What Would He Play, or What Would They Play video, I should say. I mean, it's What Would He Play so far. Alright, I'm rambling on. It's the top 5 decks that Weevil Underwood would play if he existed in our world. I know I'm kind of been on a villain streak lately, but most of the duelists in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc are kind of villainous, so let's get started. Alright, deck number 1 is generic Insects. Weevil is obviously notoriously known for playing the regular Insect Queen. And since Weevil's about to get some support in the new up-and-coming Duelist pack, we've got the ultimate mutated Insect Queen. So, yeah, bug support all the way. I have yet to play a deck centered around this, but I'm actually looking forward to getting a chance to play it. So look forward to that deck profile in the future, because I'll most likely get around to it. Deck number 2. Digital Bugs. Weevil is a big-time bug duelist, so majority of the decks on this list are, forewarning you guys, going to be bugs. Even though the digital bugs are kind of unique in that they're robot bugs. They're insect type, but if you look at them, they're technically robots. They're not real insects. But I find that very interesting, and I feel like it's another archetype that Weevil would play. Deck number 3. This is probably the most competitively viable deck on this list, which is the Crawlers, the newest insect archetype to be released in Yu-Gi-Oh! They have a really good ability to float, which is funny because with their ability to float, it's next to impossible to clear the board full of these guys. Board wipes do not work against this deck, and I don't know if they ever will, to be frankly honest. Unless your board wipe happens to wipe out, like, all of them, but that's, I don't know. Unless you're playing, like, Judgment Dragon and Lightsworns and just deplete all of their monsters, I mean, that's the only way I can think of board wipe being successful, but that's a big if. Alright, so this deck's ability to spam the board, throw out, like, some very powerful bugs, and some pretty tricky traps and spells. It's definitely, this would be the deck that Weevil would most likely pilot if he existed in our world, just to be frank. Weevil might stick to the bug theme of his decks of choice, but for sure he would definitely play the most competitive version of a bug deck that's available. Number 4, Insectors. This is probably the most I don't want to say the most likely, but this is probably the second in line, and this deck probably will be something he'll play further on in the future, because the Insector archetype is getting Link support in the up-and-coming Link, I think, V-Rains or whatever pack that's coming out. It's a crap ton of Link monsters, like every archetype. It's like if Oprah Winfrey was owning Konami over there. You get a Link monster, you get a Link monster, you get a Link monster. So, yeah, Insectors are getting their own Link monster. And this is a bug archetype that are uniquely superheroes, or based off of superheroes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my top 5 monsters you didn't know are superheroes, and I'll give you further details on that there. And I'll leave a link to that at the end of the video in one of the end cards. If you're on a laptop, you'll see that. Alright. Deck number 5. And this one is the Curveball deck. Worms. That's right, worms. These guys are reptile type, and they are not bugs at all, and they are actually aliens. But they are arthropodic, which is very similar to how insects are, having an exoskeleton instead of an endoskeleton. On top of that, in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links game app, one of the decks that Weevil pilots now is the Worms. So it's very much a deck that Weevil would play. They're very tricky. They don't... I mean, Weevil is very much a trickster in nature, so any kind of deck that is very tricky isn't above his repertoire to play. It's just the worms are actually the first deck on the are actually the only deck on this list that are not bugs themselves, and I find that unique. I thought it was interesting that Konami decided to make the worms one of the decks that he would pilot, and that's what I love about the Duel Links game right now, is that they are expanding what the Yu-Gi-Oh characters would play, making it a lot easier for a person like me to speculate on what these characters would play if they existed in our world alongside us. So kudos to Konami for doing something right with the Duel Links game. Anyway, this has been Weevil's top 5 decks. I'm going to go over it with you real quick. Worms, Insectors, Crawlers, Digital Bugs, and Generic Insects. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found this very informative and maybe it gave you a little something more to connect with maybe one of your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh characters. If you enjoyed this series, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know if there's any particular characters you want to see, because I will prioritize what you guys want to see over anything else. Yeah. I have another list video coming up here at the end of the week. I hope you guys will check that out. I'll leave a link to the superhero video that I referred to earlier. And, yeah. Make sure you like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you really enjoyed this video and want to see more of my content. And make sure you hit that bell so you can be notified for future videos. I'm Ben 10,000 of YGO, and I'm signing off. Peace, guys.